Hello. This is an appeal to all of those smart people out there. Seems that everywhere you go you see dumb people, but you also see smart people. And it is those smart people that I intend on addressing today. You see, I have something for you. I have something that you will want to buy. And it comes in the form of a Mark IV Volkswagen Golf diesel. The car with that classic door shut sound. You see, this one is 21 years old. That means it's soon to become a classic as well as an everyday practical car. It starts without a great deal of encouragement. Listen, that is a super smooth PD engine. It's time for me to admit I'm not really a fan of Volkswagen, but these engines are great. Any car at 21 years old is going to have just a few little issues to deal with unless you want to pay a fortune. And this car isn't a fortune. And that's why you would be smart to consider it. Here is what it looks like with all four doors open. Mark IV Golf, a classic in the making. I did a review on this car recently where I talked about how much I appreciate the car's understated looks and how that makes it more stylish for being less. Let's forget about that nonsense because this is actually a sales pitch. I have been challenged by my colleague to sell this car within a week. And well, a week's gone by and I haven't really found the right person, but then that's because I've been speaking to the wrong people. I now realise what I need to do is appeal to the smart people amongst you who can see past the dirt. Yes, this car needs a wash. I could wash it, you could wash it. And if you don't want to wash it, maybe you're smart enough to know somebody who will do. The mismatched front wings are a mere cosmetic inconvenience that could be rectified easily with the application of some paint. The main issue you have to look out for with cars of this age is rust, and this car doesn't actually have any. The interior of the Golf is like any other. It has enough room for as many people who can fit inside there. Plus this one has Recaro seats. Yes, proper Recaro seats. If we look at the dashboard, we can see that the current mileage is 197,268. That sounds like a lot, but only if you're a bit of a panic monger or you think that somehow having a high mileage will detract from the value of the car. In many circumstances, for many people, it does detract from the value of the car, but the fact that it's got that far and it still works, I think, shows the value of the car. The advertised price for this car is £950, which, well, is that a good price or not? I mean, because there are cars just like this that are a lot more, and there are some that may be a bit less, and there are people who claim to have sold theirs for a lot less even though the car was better. Well, good for you. Congratulations on selling a car for a lot less than it's worth. The MOT on this car is short. I can take it for another MOT, and at this stage I don't really know what it's going to need. Not for £950. That's a separate price altogether. £950, that's not a ridiculous price, and if you want it for less and you're smart, you may be able to figure out a way of actually offering less without being insulting. For example, if you reply to this ad by saying 600, that's 600, no question mark, no pound symbol, then I don't know whether that's a question. And although I am smart enough to understand what you mean, I don't think you're smart enough to buy this car. It is also somewhat insulting to just tap in last price. Even more so if you don't put the T on there and just put last price. And anyone who thinks they can get some sort of reduction by promising cash rather than a bank transfer is completely misunderstanding what money actually does. A quick walk around the car reveals a few telltale things, such as the missing fog lamp bezels. I don't know why they're not there. But overall, the car is actually in not bad condition. It's just that and the other wing don't help. Plus the standard Golf wheels, we're so used to seeing bigger boy racer wheels on these things that, depending on who you speak to, detract from the value. These standard wheels should actually be more appealing because it looks like it's not been messed about with. but it kind of has a bit. You see, underneath the bonnet is the 1.9 PD engine, but it's had uprated injectors, an uprated manifold. It's had something else done to it, and it's had a remap. So in actual fact, this is quite a quick little car. Also within this car we do have a couple of minor issues to think about, which are bits of missing trim, and well, that's one bit of missing trim I can see, and the fact that the doors won't lock. But that's not a problem, because if you're smart enough you'll live somewhere where you don't have to worry about it. Sorry, that sounds insulting, doesn't it, to people who don't have somewhere nice to live. I don't mean that. The car is temporarily suffering with a rather weak battery, but that isn't really too much of a problem because batteries basically undo and can be swapped with batteries that are good. The power steering is lovely and light, which is lovely. It's time people stopped going on about just scrapping cars. If it works and it drives and it isn't rusty and it's going to pass an MOT without any great deal, it should carry on being on the road. And that's what I think. And I think that those that disagree and just chase after the newer, flashier, more gadget-based cars are basically bully victims. Oh, but what about that 197,000 miles, eh? That is a lot. Yeah, it's more than average. Or is it? It's more than what most cars get to, because they get scrapped by people who think they need scrapping because they get over 10 years old, or think that over 100,000 miles is no good any longer. Well, I mean, these days it might not be any good, but in the old days of this, they made engines to last, and that engine will do the same mileage again. But what's the chances of that? You imagine if you took this car on now and you just drove it like a normal person might do, which isn't that good. It's not going to last that long, not because of the engine, but because someone's going to clout it, somebody's going to break it, something else will drop off somewhere. I think 197,000 miles is a lot, and it's going to take another 22 years before this engine really is kaput. Then that's pretty good going. Don't try and beat me down on the mileage, because that won't work. Think of something else. I would have the price higher if the mileage was lower, so that job's already been done for you anyway. The mileage on a car shouldn't really matter if it has been looked after. In all honesty, I would prefer a car with some mileage on it rather than a 22,000 mile car that's been stood in a garage and never even warmed up properly, because you're going to have more problems with that. Not wanting to get too far off the point, but one of the reasons why we worry so much about mileage is because so many cars don't have a genuine mileage anyway. The amount of times I've seen something with 80,000 miles with a worn out steering wheel and a hole in the carpet and everything's gone shiny because it's been worn off, that's what you need to look out for. And again, this is why I'm appealing to smart people. Only the other day I had some young lad asking about the mileage after he'd already made an offer, and I heard nothing else from him. Presumably he was a bit put off by the mileage, but I think, well, the tree that you crash into on the way home isn't going to be that discerning, is it?